Welcome back to the Tip of the Ice-Burgh podcast, brought to you as always by InsideThePenguins.com. Just a quick reminder before we get back to the show, you can find us anywhere you get your podcast from. Just search Tip of the Ice-Burgh, or you can watch us on YouTube at Inside the Penguins. Again, just search Inside the Penguins, and that's where our podcast lives. That's where episodes of Ice-Burgh to Go live. That's where episodes of Ice-Burgh Recap will live after every single regular season game this season. And of course, locker room videos as well. The latest being Erik Karlsson talking about the power play, which we will discuss here in just about 5 minutes. But before we get to that, Brayden Yager selected first overall back in July, isn't it?
First round, but yes.
What did I say? First overall?
First
overall pick for the Penguins.
There you go.
First round pick, 14th overall. My apologies there. But he's selected by Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins, the first draft pick of the Kyle Dubas era. And he rounds down. I can't speak. He rounds down his first training camp with the Pittsburgh Penguins, being reassigned to the WHL's Moose Jaw Warriors yesterday. What did you think about Yager's first camp in Pittsburgh? Obviously, he's 18 years old. He's probably a year or two away from making any impact at the NHL level, and that is if he progresses quickly. But what did you think of the 18-year-old in his first showing as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins?
He never really looked out of place. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
He never looked like he was floundering for any sort of ice, just to kind of really set him. He was setting himself apart as a very youthful young option in the future. Just an impressive hockey sense, an impressive ability to play the game. And it all started, we can even take it back to before the training camp, whenever the prospect challenge was happening. He looked damn good there, picking up a couple of points along the way and helping the Penguins pick up 2 out of the 3 wins. And once from the moment camp started, you could tell he was there. That first preseason game, I think he was centering the second line. I can't remember exactly, but sure, he may not have scored anything or recorded any points of notice, but that shootout goal was, Aaron Dell isn't an NHL goalie, but he is no slouch, and he was able to not even make a move and still rip it past a goalie with promising NHL experience.
Yeah.
And the future is bright for that kid. Like I said, he didn't look out of place. He looked pretty comfortable in any situation he was given through the training camp, through the exhibition games, because he played both of them, through the prospect challenge games. He looks like he's going to fit right in the NHL when he's ready. Obviously, there's room to grow. You can tell that there's plenty of room for improvement and just gaining that knowledge of the game and of NHL size and speed. But he's I don't want to start putting, tracks on when he's going to be NHL ready, but next year could be some real noise. I'm not saying NHL ready yet, but a hell of a lot closer than he was this year.
Yeah, obviously that remains to be seen, but I think what you saw from Brayden Yager is that he did everything that he needed to do in his first training camp. The kid is 18 years old. He came up, and what did he do? He excelled against his age group when he went to the Prospects Challenge, which most people are in or around his age. He excelled. He was one of the best players on the ice for the Pittsburgh Penguins in all 3 of those games. And then training camp begins, and then you start practicing with the big guys, and then you start those inter-squad scrimmages against guys like Evgeny Malkin, guys like Chris Letang, guys like Erik Karlsson, future Hall of Famers that have a lot of experience in this game and have a fully formed game. Meanwhile, he's still working on his, and you could tell that, there was a little bit of a drop in productivity, but that's what you expect from an 18-year-old coming in. He's not Connor Bedard, who's going to come out and score 30 goals for the Chicago Blackhawks this year. But
at the same goals in the first month. Connor Bedard's unreal.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't expect him to be. And if you are expecting him to be that, then you need to lower your expectations. He went out there and he looked good. Like he wasn't a world beater. He wasn't one of the best players on the ice in those 2 preseason games, but he looked good. He was noticeable. His speed, very evident against even NHLers. His speed against guys like Dylan Larkin, Alex DeBrincat, very evident, especially in the Columbus game. I thought he looked like one of the fastest guys on the ice. And he's been touted as having, a lot of foot speed, and it's one of his strengths. But I think that his overall game is at a really good place for an 18-year-old, and I'm excited to see how he's able to grow throughout the season. I'm not going to probably watch too many games from Moose Jaw, but anytime they play the Swift Current Broncos, probably a tune-in time because Owen Pickering should be down there as well.
We'll see we'll see how that Owen Pickering thing goes, and he's still skating with the injured squad, so there's no real progression or movement of note there. But yeah, it's also just kind of hard to find WHL games in the Eastern.
Yeah.
It'll be anytime that you are able to see or at least find highlights of Brayden Yager, do so. It's going to be fun to watch. He's got a great shot too. I saw that a couple of times during camp.
Yeah, he certainly has a really hard shot, a shot that once he can rein it in a little bit, it does get a little bit sporadic with the accuracy, but once he can rein that in a little bit, he could be a very dangerous player at the next level. Of course, long way to go, 18 years old, but certainly a good start at his first career training camp. But